It begins not with a whisper, but with a presence, an object so filled with questions that merely looking at it sets the mind wandering into places that feel both ancient and impossible. The Voynich Manuscript is no ordinary book. It is a maze in ink, bound in vellum, carrying a secret that has resisted every human attempt to unravel it for more than 600 years. You open it, and before you even understand what you are seeing, something in its pages tells you that it will not give itself up easily. The first sensation is confusion that slides almost into disbelief. Line after line of writing flows freely across the page, and yet the alphabet itself belongs to no known culture. The words seem natural, patterned, as if transcribed from a genuine language, but there is no translator alive, past or present, who can read them. As your eyes move downward, along the strange loops and curves, you become aware that this text does not merely hide meaning, it inhabits a world outside of the reach of our own. Then come the pictures, bizarre and vivid, as if painted directly from imagination. Plants with roots woven into shapes no botanist has ever catalogued, flowers whose petals spread in geometric spirals, leaves that mimic the outlines of stars. Unlike the language, their impact is visual and immediate. You know they are plants, the way you know a symbol when you see one, but something about them insists they are not from our earth. They exist on the page as living drawings yet remain unclaimed by nature. That strangeness pulls you deeper, making the manuscript feel like a portal. Here is a star wheel diagram, perhaps charting constellations, perhaps not. Here is a woman bathing in a green, flowing network of channels, looking both serene and purposeful. Here are pages of circular forms and astronomical perspectives that defy simple identification. And floating behind each figure is the persistent thought that none of it has been explained to any certainty, no matter how many minds have tried. The story of the manuscript's resistance begins with time itself. The parchment was made in the early 15th century, somewhere between 1404 and 1438 according to the most precise carbon dating tests. 6 centuries have passed since the material was formed, and yet its secret language has refused surrender at every turn. Cryptographers who cracked wartime codes have failed here. Historians who have untangled political ciphers have walked away empty-handed. Even artificial intelligence, trained on millions of words, patterns, and linguistic structures, produces only patterns without meaning. It is that defiant subtle but absolute that makes the Voynich Manuscript feel alive. The moment you hear its name, you sense that this is more than an artifact, it is an adversary, one without malice, but with a kind of perfect patience. It waits, unaffected by the centuries, untouched by the burning of libraries or the collapse of kingdoms. Knowledge around it changes. Technology evolves. Yet the book remains exactly where it began, in the center of a mystery that no one has cracked. When you are in its presence, the air shifts. The pages are thin but stiff, bound in a cover worn by age yet marked by care. Someone crafted this manuscript with intention, ink strokes laid with confidence, images placed with deliberation. Nothing about it suggests accident or chaos. And that, in its own way, is more unsettling than randomness because it means there was a plan, an order, perhaps even a message in full, known only to its creator. To think about that creator is to step even closer to the heart of the enigma. Was it one person, quietly writing and illustrating in secrecy? Was it a community, preserving knowledge meant only for their own eyes? Or was it a single mind attempting to leave behind a record so complex that only the right reader, a reader with keys we no longer possess, could understand it? All three possibilities stand equally strong, none proven, each capable of sending the imagination spinning. And so the manuscript sits, not just in libraries but in our collective awareness, its mystery functioning like a quiet magnet for the human mind. The inability to read it is as much part of its identity as its ink and parchment. It is the book nobody can read, and in that failure lies its strange power. The very fact that it blocks understanding makes it irresistible, pulling generation after generation toward an unfathomable promise. Every language specialist knows the feeling, opening a page, looking for root patterns, for repetitions, for points of overlap with scripts already known. The Voynich script offers plenty of repetition, enough structure to feel real, but the moment the effort to decode begins, it slides sideways. Words that should correspond refuse to settle into meaning. The text behaves like a language designed to exist without translation, a closed circuit that loops endlessly within itself. The illustrations, too, resist simplification. If they were mere decorations, they could be ignored. If they were exact depictions of known plants or celestial maps, scholars could match them to reality and proceed. But they are neither. They stand precisely between the real and the invented, making the viewer guess whether they represent lost knowledge, symbolic thought, or simply invention meant to pair with the unreadable words. In this way, the Voynich Manuscript does something unusual. It turns the act of looking into an act of questioning. You cannot simply observe its details, you must ask, at every turn, what those details mean. And because there is no answer, your mind becomes an active participant in the mystery. People will stay up long into the night, just staring at the scans of these pages, convincing themselves they might see the key where no one else has found it. Perhaps that is why it fits so perfectly into the long tradition of human fascination with the unexplained. There is comfort in knowledge, yes, but there is also a deeper, quieter comfort in the existence of questions without answers. In a world that seeks to define and categorize everything, the Voynich Manuscript stands as proof that some things will not submit to categorization. It resists reduction, it expands the unknown. This resistance shapes the experience of learning about it. You begin with curiosity. You move through fascination. Then you arrive at a point where you must admit that your own knowledge is limited. And in that moment, the manuscript stops being just a book. It becomes a mirror to your own boundaries, your own inability to know. That reflection is powerful, perhaps more lasting than any decoded message could be. It is tempting, even now, to imagine what would happen if the Voynich Manuscript S-code were finally broken. Would it reveal medicinal recipes from the medieval world? Would it unlock astronomical theories centuries ahead of their time? Or would it turn out to be something far more human and modest, a diary, a personal reflection, the notes of an alchemist who wanted only to describe what they saw? All of these possibilities live together inside its covers, bound in quiet suspense. Yet there is a possibility even stranger, that the code has no meaning, that it was designed to be unreadable, a work of art or a hoax whose purpose was to seem mysterious rather than to communicate information. While evidence suggests real structure in the writing, the human mind cannot help but consider this option. And here again, the manuscript simply waits. It does not offer clues to push one theory forward or pull another back. The balance of possibility remains perfect, suspended. The weight of history upon its pages is undeniable. This book has passed through centuries, through hands that cherished it, traded it, kept it hidden, and finally revealed it to the world. It has avoided destruction in fires, wars, and the slow decay that claims lesser works. Somehow, the Voynich manuscript has survived intact enough for us to be certain of its authenticity, even if we cannot grasp its meaning. And when you listen to its story in the calm of the night, the experience becomes almost meditative. The voices of scholars, cryptographers, and casual enthusiasts echo across time, each offering guesses, none delivering certainty. The spaces between words in our own language become aligned with the spaces between the Voynich symbols, bridging silence with silence. The manuscript does not feel hostile, it feels deliberate, patient, and timeless. So here is what makes it extraordinary. From the first moment of hearing about it, the Voynich manuscript is a creation that has defied explanation for more than half a millennium, standing untouched by our most advanced tools of deciphering. It is the embodiment of mystery, a book that has no reader yet continues to hold the promise of revelation. And tonight, as we journey into its quiet corridors of ink and parchment, you will feel the pull of that promise, as countless others have before you, knowing full well that the mystery may never resolve. The Voynich manuscript's journey into the hands of modern scholars begins not in some grand library, but rather in the quiet corners of a Jesuit college near Rome. It was 1912 when Wilfried Voynich, a Polish-American rare book dealer with a keen eye for unusual manuscripts, stumbled upon this peculiar volume hidden away among a collection of forgotten texts. The setting was Villa Mondragone in Frascati, a place with many books stored and little catalogued, where Voynich's discovery would change the course of cryptographic and historical inquiry forever. Voynich acquired the manuscript as part of a larger batch of manuscripts and books from the Jesuits, whose financial struggles had forced them to sell treasured possessions. The manuscript itself had been locked away, its true nature a secret to many, including the Jesuits themselves, who had kept it for centuries without understanding its meaning. Voynich recognized immediately that this was unlike anything he had seen, something with an aura of mystery that hung heavily around its pages. This was not simply an old book, it was a coded enigma sealed in inferior vellum and written in an unknown alphabet that demanded more than casual inspection. Voynich felt the weight of its centuries, the rough and delicate pages that seemed to pulse faintly with history. He was convinced it contained long-lost scientific, botanical, or magical knowledge whose key had been lost in time. His enthusiasm sparked decades of study and debate that continues to this day. But where did the manuscript come from before its rediscovery? Despite the certainty of modern radiocarbon dating that pegs the parchment to the early 15th century between 1404 and 1438, its early provenance remains deeply obscured. The manuscript likely originated somewhere in Central Europe, possibly Italy or the region that would become the Czech Republic. Though precisely where and by whom it was penned is a subject soaked in speculation and scholarly argument. The earliest documented owner held before the modern era was George Besch, a 17th-century alchemist from Prague whose fascination with the manuscript echoes our own. Besch was so intrigued by the text that he reached out for help, sending samples to the Jesuit priest Athanasius Kircher, a polymath noted for his attempts to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphs and other mysterious scripts. Kircher's investigation did not unlock the secrets, but his passion for the manuscript aided its survival. Following Besch, the manuscript eventually passed into the hands of Emperor Rudolf II sometime in the late 16th or early 17th century. Rudolf, a patron of the arts and sciences notorious for his interest in the occult, supposedly purchased it for a hefty sum, supporting the idea that the manuscript might have held arcane wisdom. After Rudolf's death, the manuscript moved among several less well-known owners, including Rudolf's court chemist and pharmacist, Jacobus Horsecki de Tepanek, who left a faint signature on the first page, barely visible except under ultraviolet light. The manuscript's trail becomes less clear after that, falling into almost complete obscurity for centuries. No detailed records conclusively trace its whereabouts during this period, adding to the cloud of mystery circling the book's past. What is clear is that over those long years, the manuscript survived fires, wars, and neglect, carried forward by owners who either treasured it as a curiosity or feared it as a dangerous cipher. When Voynich finally brought the manuscript into the light of the 20th century, he propelled it into the spotlight of academic and cryptographic study. His efforts included displaying it to leading scholars, cryptographers, and libraries, hoping one might finally crack its code. None succeeded. His appeal to experts from code breakers of world wars to linguistic geniuses was met with frustration and continued bafflement. Despite intense scrutiny, the text resisted all attempts at meaningful translation. Voynich himself never found a buyer for the manuscript, which remained a personal obsession until his death in 1930. His wife, Ethel, then became the steward of this baffling relic, storing it safely in a bank vault with a letter advising its contents and importance, to be opened only after her passing. For 3 decades, the manuscript waited silently, untouched by the outside world, locked behind cold steel doors but still pulsing with unanswered questions. Eventually, the manuscript passed into the hands of H.P. Krauss, another rare book dealer, and finally was donated to Yale University's Binet Rare Book and Manuscript Library in 1969, where it gained a permanent home in a climate-controlled vault. Now digitized, its pages are available to countless researchers and curious minds worldwide, yet its text remains as indecipherable as ever. Unlike any ordinary relic, the manuscript lives in a liminal space between the real and the imagined. Each new generation of scientists, historians, and cryptographers has approached the manuscript armed with newer technologies and advanced theories. Computer algorithms attempt pattern recognition. Artificial intelligence scans its structure in search of linguistic clues. But time and again, these systems are confounded by the manuscript's unique and alien script. It does not conform to known languages or cipher systems, leaving experts puzzled over whether it is a natural language, a constructed code, or something else entirely. Alongside the linguistic mystery lies the equally perplexing visual language etched in vibrant inks, bizarre plants, enigmatic astronomical figures, and peculiar diagrams. These illustrations suggest knowledge of botany, cosmology, or medicine, but their exact purpose remains inconclusive. The style of art reflects various European influences, yet the subjects defy straightforward classification. Was this a book of herbal medicine, astrology, alchemy, or something beyond our reach? Some propose that the manuscript is the work of a single, brilliant mind weaving science and fantasy into an unreadable tapestry. Others argue it might be a group effort, a collaborative compendium collected by a secret society or scholar keeping knowledge guarded. Alternatively, there are skeptics who see the manuscript as an elaborate hoax, created to mystify patrons or serve as a private joke among learned circles. But whatever the truth, the manuscript's survival through the centuries speaks to its perceived value, whether intellectual, artistic, or symbolic. It has endured because people have cared for it, puzzled over it, feared it, and revered it. This passage through history, from the hands of alchemists and kings to modern libraries, is part of the manuscript's secret allure. It connects us with a world long vanished, where knowledge was sometimes hidden in plain sight and mysteries were crafted to last forever. In reflecting on the manuscript's journey, one realizes this story is as much about human curiosity as it is about the book itself. The manuscript acts as a vessel, carrying not only lost words and strange drawings but also our endless hunger for discovery, our frustration with boundaries, and our wonder at the unknown. Its silence echoes across centuries, inviting generations to listen closely and, perhaps, to dream of unlocking a secret that may forever remain just out of reach. The Voynich Manuscript invites us to examine it more intimately, to peer beyond its surface and question what it reveals about the unknown. Its physical makeup alone tells a tale both fragile and defiant. The parchment, carefully prepared from calfskin, is remarkably well preserved for its age, showing signs of aging yet resisting the decay that has claimed countless other texts from the same era. Every crease, every discoloration, every faint stain speaks to centuries of handling, of being touched by hands that sought meaning in its cryptic contents. The ink itself presents a mystery. Scientific analysis shows the inks are composed of iron gall, a common substance of the medieval period, but the faded colors suggest a careful artistry. The blues and greens that illustrate the manuscript's many botanical and cosmological drawings shimmer faintly even now, as if they were meant to glow under some forgotten light. The pigment's longevity is a silent testimony to the skill of whoever prepared them, and the manuscript's care in preservation only deepens the aura of mystery surrounding it. Ultraviolet and infrared scans have revealed layers beneath the visible text, indicating earlier writing that was erased before new script was inscribed. This suggests a process of rewriting or deliberate concealment, as though the manuscript's creator or later owners wished to hide an earlier message. This act of erasure hints at secrets even the manuscript refuses to fully disclose, elevating it from simple mystery to a coded relic layered with meaning both overt and hidden. The arrangement of the pages themselves offers clues into the manuscript's intended use. The pages are grouped into sections, loosely based on subject matter: herbal, astronomical, biological, cosmological, and pharmaceutical. Each section flows into the next, inviting the reader to journey from one aspect of knowledge to another in a way that feels intuitive yet impenetrable. The manuscript is more than a book, it is a strange ecosystem of knowledge, a dreamscape in parchment form. Within the herbal section, images of plants fill nearly every page. Yet none corresponds exactly to known species. Some resemble combinations of multiple plants, while others seem entirely fantastical. This botanical fantasy suggests either a lost language of botany or a symbolic system designed to encode secret knowledge. The plants are depicted with roots, stems, leaves, and flowers that intertwine into elaborate forms, giving an impression that the manuscript's creator was inventing an unseen botanical world. The astronomical section deepens the mystery with diagrams showing sun, moon, stars, and zodiac symbols in unfamiliar configurations. Some pages feature wheels divided into segments, others depict clusters of stars arranged as circles around female figures. The interface between the celestial images and the manuscript's unreadable text feels charged with meaning that we are unable to decode. These star maps may represent navigation, astrological readings, or philosophical ideas far removed from our modern frameworks. The biological and cosmological sections present an even stranger tableau. The biological section includes images of small, nude female figures, many bathing in green pools connected by elaborate channels or tubes. This has led to speculation about medieval understandings of human anatomy, fertility, or perhaps alchemical processes. The way these figures are presented resonates with symbolic representations rather than clinical anatomy, reinforcing the manuscript's persistent ambiguity. The cosmological pages are filled with circular diagrams and spirals, some suggestive of maps or calendars but without clear points of reference. These intricate illustrations suggest cycles, rhythms, and possibly hidden timekeeping systems. The manuscript's cosmic imagery blends art and science in a way that blurs the boundary between observation and imagination, challenging our understanding of medieval knowledge systems. The pharmaceutical section pulls in another level of the unknown, featuring drawings of small containers, seemingly jars or vials, alongside texts again undeciphered. These images imply the manuscript may contain recipes or instructions related to medicine, herbal brewing, or alchemical transformations. The jar's varied shapes and sizes hint at a complex pharmacopoeia, but without translation, their true uses remain inaccessible. Throughout the manuscript, the consistency of the handwriting across hundreds of pages reinforces the theory that a single individual or closely connected team produced it. The script flows with fluidity, the characters following complex but consistent rules. This challenges ideas that the text might be random gibberish or an attempt at a hoax, suggesting instead a true linguistic or symbolic system crafted with great care. Efforts to decode the manuscript's text go back decades, encompassing a wide range of methods. Some early attempts compared the script to known alphabets such as Latin, Hebrew, and Arabic but found no exact match. Others proposed it might be a constructed language or cipher, deliberately designed to appear as natural language while hiding true meaning beneath layers of coding. In the mid-20th century, William Friedman, one of the world's foremost cryptographers, took on the challenge. He led a team of NSA cryptographers to analyze the manuscript, approaching it with the scientific rigor of wartime code breaking. Despite their expertise and advanced methods, they failed to uncover coherent messages, and Friedman confessed that it might be one of the most mysterious texts in history. More recently, the manuscript has drawn the attention of artificial intelligence researchers. They analyze its symbol frequency, structure, and pattern repetitions with machine learning models trained on vast datasets of human and constructed languages. These approaches reveal statistically significant patterns and linguistic-like properties but no clear semantic decoding. The AI's inability to translate the text suggests it is either an unknown language isolated from any known linguistic family or a complex code that requires a key lost to time. The manuscript's resilience to interpretation has led to many provocative theories. Some argue it is a pharmacopoeia, a medieval herbal remedy guide intertwined with astrology. Others believe it relates to alchemy, containing secret formulas to transform substances or even to achieve immortality. There are theories linking it to secret societies or mystics who used coded language to protect their teachings from outsiders. Skeptics propose it might be an elaborate medieval hoax, intended to trick rulers or wealthy collectors into believing in magical or lost knowledge. This theory explains why the text defies explanation. It was never meant to be understood but to evoke awe. While some details support this idea, the manuscript's complexity and apparent internal logic argue against it being simply nonsense. One of the most haunting aspects is the manuscript's silence. Its refusal to communicate clearly preserves a mystique that tantalizes scholars and dreamers alike. The book becomes a symbol of human limits, a reminder that despite centuries of progress, some mysteries endure beyond interpretation and understanding. In this way, it becomes more than text, it is a mirror reflecting our deepest curiosity and frustration. The manuscript's lineage continues to haunt each generation. It has been studied by scholars of every discipline: linguists, botanists, historians, astronomers, and artists. Each brings their own lens, their own hopes of unraveling its riddles. Yet their voices are like whispers in a vast library of shadows, pointing toward secrets that remain beyond grasp. Its place in popular culture has grown over the decades, featuring in documentaries, novels, and films, further amplifying its mythic status. The Voynich Manuscript is more than a book; it has become a legend, a muse for imagination, a riddle with infinite echoes. Its pages invite the world to look closer, to wonder, and to dream of a past where knowledge danced just beyond the veil of comprehension. Night after night, readers and researchers come to it, compelled by the same force, to know what cannot be known, to read what cannot be read. This silent dialogue across centuries reminds us that some mysteries are meant to endure, to keep calling us back to the edge of understanding, where awe and curiosity live together in timeless embrace. The Voynich Manuscript continues to command fascination not only for its mysterious script and strange illustrations, but also for the unanswered question at its very core: what is this text? Its language, written in a script unlike any other, has baffled experts, spawning theories that span both the natural and supernatural realms. The script flows on each page with smooth continuity, hinting at rules and patterns that suggest an ordered system, yet no one has unraveled its syntax or semantics with finality. Linguists have analyzed the Voynich script and noted intriguing features that resemble natural language's patterns of letter repetition and word structure that defy random chance. Yet it does not align with the phonetics or grammar of any known tongue, living or dead. Some propose it's a constructed language, devised deliberately to convey secret knowledge to an initiated few while remaining indecipherable to outsiders. Others speculate it may be a cipher with many layers, designed to conceal the text's true meaning beneath a veil of complexity. The diversity of these hypotheses reveals how the manuscript defies classification, occupying a liminal space between code, language, and symbol. In practice, decoding attempts face a wall of ambiguity, where even the simplest assumptions about reading direction or character grouping are open to question. The text's continuous flow without obvious punctuation or breaks challenges traditional linguistic analysis, adding layers of difficulty to any translational effort. For centuries, cryptographers have been drawn to the manuscript, hoping to apply their tools to its enigmatic pages. During the era of early modern Europe, ciphers and secret codes flourished, especially among scholars interested in alchemy, occult knowledge, or political intrigue. The manuscript's timing fits this period perfectly, suggesting it may be part of a broader tradition of coded communication, where knowledge was power protected by cryptic veils. In the 20th century, attention shifted with the rise of professional code breakers and computer science. William Friedman, famed for breaking Japanese ciphers in World War II, led extensive analysis efforts. Despite a lifetime devoted to cryptographic puzzles, Friedman and his team could not decipher the Voynich text. This failure lent the manuscript a reputation as one of the most stubborn enigmas in human history. With the arrival of computers, new analytical methods emerged. Statistical models quantified the frequency of characters and word lengths, revealing patterns consistent with meaningful language. These insights proved the text was unlikely to be meaningless gibberish, yet failed to produce a breakthrough in understanding the content. The manuscript remained a tantalizing puzzle, real but unreadable. In recent decades, artificial intelligence has entered the fray, using machine learning to detect subtle structural patterns invisible to the human eye. Neural networks trained on known languages attempt to map Voynich characters onto phonemes or concepts. The results consistently show the text behaves like a natural language, but no definitive key to its meaning has appeared. This technological approach underscores the manuscript's sophisticated design, either a lost language or an advanced cipher. Among the many proposals about the manuscript's purpose, some scholars suggest it was created as a medical or herbal manual, its text a coded description of remedies and treatments. The botanical illustrations might support this, depicting plants used in healing rituals, perhaps in a symbolic form meant to protect knowledge from misuse. This theory fits with the medieval context, where science, medicine, and mysticism intertwined. Others see the manuscript as an astrological guide or alchemical treatise. Its celestial diagrams and strange human figures hint at cosmic influences on the body or spirit. Astrology was central to medieval medicine and magic, and the manuscript might contain encoded guidance for practitioners navigating this complex worldview. The images of bathing women and green pools could symbolize purification or transformation, key concepts in alchemy. Several researchers interpret the text as a kind of philosophical or mystical allegory. In this view, the manuscript is a spiritual text cloaked in symbolic language and imagery, expressing ideas about nature, the cosmos, and human existence beyond straightforward communication. This would explain some of its resistant qualities, not a practical manual, but a coded meditation or ritual artifact. Despite all these guesses, a full consensus remains elusive. Some skeptics argue the manuscript is an elaborate medieval hoax or fantasy, created more to confuse than to inform. The elaborate details, consistent script, and beautiful illustrations argue against this, but the idea that it was designed as a puzzle without solution still holds sway in some circles. This possibility serves as a reminder that human creativity can produce mysteries as meaningful in their silence as in their words. The text's structure offers clues yet refuses final interpretation. Words cluster into units separated by spaces, resembling sentences or phrases. The script includes repeated sequences that suggest grammar or syntax rules. The manuscript's script includes roughly 20 distinct character shapes, used systematically. Yet none correspond to any known alphabet, ancient or modern. This tantalizing coherence without identification deepens the mystery. The manuscript's unique script has been given many tentative names but no official reading. Known simply as Voynich among specialists, it represents a linguistic island, isolated and unconnected, with no close cousins among human languages. This isolation fuels debates whether it is a natural, constructed, or encrypted language. Its study crosses into the borderlands of linguistics, cryptology, and art history. The sense that the manuscript might never reveal its secrets adds to its haunting allure. Unlike most historical texts, which yield meaning through context or comparison, the Voynich refuses every door to understanding. It offers no Rosetta Stone, no bilingual translation, no key or legend. The text's inscrutability forces us to confront the limits of knowledge itself, what we can know, how we can know it, and what forever remains beyond reach. Its unreadability and strange imagery align with a broader human experience of grappling with the unknown. The manuscript becomes a symbol of mysteries that transcend time and technology. It beckons generations to look closely and wonder. Each failed attempt to decipher its pages is a testament to human curiosity and persistence, qualities that persist even in the face of silence. There is power in this silence. The manuscript's pages do not just withhold meaning, they provoke questions about the boundaries between language, art, and code. They push us to imagine what knowledge might have looked like in a world where mysteries were meant to endure, where knowledge could be hidden rather than shared, guarded rather than published. The manuscript occupies a vital place among artifacts that challenge our assumptions about history and communication. It calls into question the narratives we tell about written language as a straightforward tool for transmission. Instead, it suggests that writing can sometimes be a performance, a game, or a vault, a way to hold secrets within symbols, simultaneously visible and opaque. Its enigma has inspired artists, writers, filmmakers, and mystics, each adding layers of interpretation and speculation. The manuscript is as much cultural icon as historical object, a muse for creative minds seeking to imagine what lies beyond the written word. Its incomplete nature invites collaboration across fields, a shared human fascination that transcends borders and disciplines. Looking closely at the manuscript's script is to enter a world without familiar landmarks. Its characters curve and twist, creating patterns that seduce the eye even as they elude comprehension. This dance of symbols across the pages evokes a mix of frustration and wonder. It's a reminder that language is more than communication, it is also mystery, symbol, and challenge. In every carefully drawn line and every character laid down, the manuscript whispers a story we cannot yet hear. It is a story of a knowledge lost, perhaps deliberately, perhaps by accident. It is a story of human ingenuity and imagination pushing the boundaries of expression and secrecy. It is also a story of endurance, surviving centuries without losing its power to fascinate. These blank spaces between legibility and meaning become the manuscript's greatest gift. It teaches patience, humility, and a willingness to dwell in uncertainty. It invites us not only to seek answers but to savor the questions themselves, to appreciate the beauty of mystery as a place where minds meet across time. The manuscript's enduring unknown rests partly in our collective imagination. Each generation projects onto it hopes, fears, and dreams. It stands as a mirror reflecting what we value in knowledge and what we fear in the unknowable. In this way, it has become, paradoxically, both a secret and a shared experience, a private treasure and a global enigma. The Voynich Manuscript challenges our need for closure. It asks us to let go of the certainty of understanding and embrace the open-ended nature of mystery. Tonight, as these words settle into silence, consider that sometimes the greatest stories lie not in endings but in the spaces waiting to be filled by the patient listener's imagination. Would you like me to continue next with the following section? The Voynich Manuscript continues to command fascination not only for its mysterious script and strange illustrations but also for the unanswered question at its very core: what is this text? Its language, written in a script unlike any other, has baffled experts, spawning theories that span both the natural and supernatural realms. The script flows on each page with smooth continuity, hinting at rules and patterns that suggest an ordered system, yet no one has unraveled its syntax or semantics with finality. Linguists have analyzed the Voynich script and noted intriguing features that resemble natural language's patterns of letter repetition and word structure that defy random chance. Yet it does not align with the phonetics or grammar of any known tongue, living or dead. Some propose it's a constructed language, devised deliberately to convey secret knowledge to an initiated few while remaining indecipherable to outsiders. Others speculate it may be a cipher with many layers, designed to conceal the text's true meaning beneath a veil of complexity. The diversity of these hypotheses reveals how the manuscript defies classification, occupying a liminal space between code, language, and symbol. In practice, decoding attempts face a wall of ambiguity, where even the simplest assumptions about reading direction or character grouping are open to question. The text's continuous flow without obvious punctuation or breaks challenges traditional linguistic analysis, adding layers of difficulty to any translational effort. For centuries, cryptographers have been drawn to the manuscript, hoping to apply their tools to its enigmatic pages. During the era of early modern Europe, ciphers and secret codes flourished, especially among scholars interested in alchemy, occult knowledge, or political intrigue. The manuscript's timing fits this period perfectly, suggesting it may be part of a broader tradition of coded communication, where knowledge was power protected by cryptic veils. In the 20th century, attention shifted with the rise of professional code breakers and computer science. William Friedman, famed for breaking Japanese ciphers in World War II, led extensive analysis efforts. Despite a lifetime devoted to cryptographic puzzles, Friedman and his team could not decipher the Voynich text. This failure lent the manuscript a reputation as one of the most stubborn enigmas in human history. With the arrival of computers, new analytical methods emerged. Statistical models quantified the frequency of characters and word lengths, revealing patterns consistent with meaningful language. These insights proved the text was unlikely to be meaningless gibberish, yet failed to produce a breakthrough in understanding the content. The manuscript remained a tantalizing puzzle, real but unreadable. In recent decades, artificial intelligence has entered the fray, using machine learning to detect subtle structural patterns invisible to the human eye. Neural networks trained on known languages attempt to map Voynich characters onto phonemes or concepts. The results consistently show the text behaves like a natural language, but no definitive key to its meaning has appeared. This technological approach underscores the manuscript's sophisticated design, either a lost language or an advanced cipher. Among the many proposals about the manuscript's purpose, some scholars suggest it was created as a medical or herbal manual, its text a coded description of remedies and treatments. The botanical illustrations might support this, depicting plants used in healing rituals, perhaps in a symbolic form meant to protect knowledge from misuse. This theory fits with the medieval context, where science, medicine, and mysticism intertwined. Others see the manuscript as an astrological guide or alchemical treatise. Its celestial diagrams and strange human figures hint at cosmic influences on the body or spirit. Astrology was central to medieval medicine and magic, and the manuscript might contain encoded guidance for practitioners navigating this complex worldview. The images of bathing women and green pools could symbolize purification or transformation, key concepts in alchemy. Several researchers interpret the text as a kind of philosophical or mystical allegory. In this view, the manuscript is a spiritual text cloaked in symbolic language and imagery, expressing ideas about nature, the cosmos, and human existence beyond straightforward communication. This would explain some of its resistant qualities, not a practical manual, but a coded meditation or ritual artifact. Despite all these guesses, a full consensus remains elusive. Some skeptics argue the manuscript is an elaborate medieval hoax or fantasy, created more to confuse than to inform. The elaborate details, consistent script, and beautiful illustrations argue against this, but the idea that it was designed as a puzzle without solution still holds sway in some circles. This possibility serves as a reminder that human creativity can produce mysteries as meaningful in their silence as in their words. The text-S structure offers clues yet refuses final interpretation. Words cluster into units separated by spaces, resembling sentences or phrases. The script includes repeated sequences that suggest grammar or syntax rules. The manuscript S script includes roughly 20 distinct character shapes, used systematically. Yet none correspond to any known alphabet, ancient or modern. This tantalizing coherence without identification deepens the mystery. The manuscript S unique script has been given many tentative names but no official reading. Known simply as Voynich among specialists, it represents a linguistic island, isolated and unconnected, with no close cousins among human languages. This isolation fuels debates whether it is a natural, constructed, or encrypted language. Its study crosses into the borderlands of linguistics, cryptology, and art history. The sense that the manuscript might never reveal its secrets adds to its haunting allure. Unlike most historical texts, which yield meaning through context or comparison, the Voynich refuses every door to understanding. It offers no Rosetta Stone, no bilingual translation, no key or legend. The text-S inscrutability forces us to confront the limits of knowledge itself, what we can know, how we can know it, and what forever remains beyond reach. Its unreadability and strange imagery align with a broader human experience of grappling with the unknown. The manuscript becomes a symbol of mysteries that transcend time and technology. It beckons generations to look closely and wonder. Each failed attempt to decipher its pages is a testament to human curiosity and persistence, qualities that persist even in the face of silence. There is power in this silence. The manuscript S pages do not just withhold meaning, they provoke questions about the boundaries between language, art, and code. They push us to imagine what knowledge might have looked like in a world where mysteries were meant to endure, where knowledge could be hidden rather than shared, guarded rather than published. The manuscript occupies a vital place among artifacts that challenge our assumptions about history and communication. It calls into question the narratives we tell about written language as a straightforward tool for transmission. Instead, it suggests that writing can sometimes be a performance, a game, or a vault, a way to hold secrets within symbols, simultaneously visible and opaque. Its enigma has inspired artists, writers, filmmakers, and mystics, each adding layers of interpretation and speculation. The manuscript is as much cultural icon as historical object, a muse for creative minds seeking to imagine what lies beyond the written word. Its incomplete nature invites collaboration across fields, a shared human fascination that transcends borders and disciplines. Looking closely at the manuscript S script is to enter a world without familiar landmarks. Its characters curve and twist, creating patterns that seduce the eye even as they elude comprehension. This dance of symbols across the pages evokes a mix of frustration and wonder. It's a reminder that language is more than communication, it is also mystery, symbol, and challenge. In every carefully drawn line and every character laid down, the manuscript whispers a story we cannot yet hear. It is a story of a knowledge lost, perhaps deliberately, perhaps by accident. It is a story of human ingenuity and imagination pushing the boundaries of expression and secrecy. It is also a story of endurance, surviving centuries without losing its power to fascinate. These blank spaces between legibility and meaning become the manuscript's greatest gift. It teaches patience, humility, and a willingness to dwell in uncertainty. It invites us not only to seek answers but to savor the questions themselves, to appreciate the beauty of mystery as a place where minds meet across time. The manuscript's enduring unknown rests partly in our collective imagination. Each generation projects onto it hopes, fears, and dreams. It stands as a mirror reflecting what we value in knowledge and what we fear in the unknowable. In this way, it has become, paradoxically, both a secret and a shared experience, a private treasure and a global enigma. The Voynich Manuscript challenges our need for closure. It asks us to let go of the certainty of understanding and embrace the open-ended nature of mystery. Tonight, as these words settle into silence, consider that sometimes the greatest stories lie not in endings but in the spaces waiting to be filled by the patient listener's imagination. The Voynich Manuscript's botanical illustrations are some of its most captivating and confounding elements. Each page is filled with drawings of plants that defy identification, their shapes seemingly borrowed from both reality and imagination. Roots twist like serpents, leaves unfold with geometric precision, and petals bloom in strange, star-like patterns that suggest a language of nature that no modern botany has recorded. These images pull the viewer deeper into the manuscript's mystery, evoking a world that is both familiar and alien. Closer study reveals that many plants appear as hybrids or composites, blending features of known species with entirely invented traits. This blending defies typical botanical categorization, challenging assumptions about the manuscript's purpose. Were these plants meant as symbolic representations, encoding secret knowledge about medicine or magic? Or were they illustrations of lost species, now vanished from the earth? The possibilities are as wide as the imagination allows. The botanical illustrations are detailed, precise, and sometimes accompanied by text that may be intended as descriptions or instructions. Yet the script remains unreadable, turning these pages into a visual language without verbal translation. The artist's careful use of color and form suggests deep knowledge or careful invention, prompting many to consider that the plants might represent alchemical ingredients or metaphoric elements in a coded spiritual system. This botanical section of the manuscript shares its style with contemporary medieval herbals, yet it diverges radically in content. While medieval herbals aim to catalogue useful plants and their medicinal uses for doctors and apothecaries, the Voynich's plants resist such straightforward classification. The manuscript seems to invite exploration into a realm where botany meets fantasy, science coexists with symbolism, and curiosity leads to endless speculation. Many researchers have devoted years to matching these plants with known specimens, traveling through centuries of botanical knowledge without definitive success. Some suggest the images may be stylized versions of plants native to a specific region or culture no longer well documented. Others argue that the drawings contain coded directions for herbal preparations or alchemical processes, with the plants serving as a cipher key for hidden knowledge rather than as literal flora. The emotional impact of these pages cannot be overstated. Viewers often describe a sensation of both wonder and unease when confronting the alien botanical forms. There is a mesmerizing beauty in the intricate lines and vibrant pigments, yet a persistent disquieting feeling that these are not merely decorative. They offer a glimpse into a mindset that sees nature through a lens vastly different from our own, bridging the familiar with the unknown. This tension between recognition and mystery in the plants becomes a metaphor for the manuscript as a whole, a vessel of knowledge partially revealed but ultimately elusive. Each leaf, petal, and twig draws the eye like a whispered promise, teasing the idea that the book holds answers just beyond reach. They invite the viewer to bridge the gap between science and art, between reality and imagination. Alongside the botanical images are textual elements which almost seem like annotations or glosses, perhaps instructions, notes, or references to the plant's uses. Without translation, their meaning is locked away, a silent companion to the vivid images that dominate the pages. This interplay between text and illustration hints at the manuscript's possible function as a practical manual or a coded compendium, yet this hypothesis remains tantalizingly out of reach. Some theorists propose the manuscript was created as a pharmacopoeia for a lost tradition of herbal medicine, blending empirical observation with esoteric knowledge. The plants might have been drawn both from actual experience and symbolic or spiritual interpretation, offering cures encoded in a language understood only by a select few. If so, the manuscript served simultaneously as guide and guard, preserving ancient wisdom behind a veil of secrecy. Others suggest a more mystical purpose. The plant drawings might represent elements of a symbolic system not botanical in the usual sense but alchemical or mystical, designed to encode spiritual transformations or cosmic principles. The strange, hybridized forms could correspond to inner states, energies, or metaphysical forces mapped onto the natural world, transforming the manuscript into a tool for meditation or ritual. Yet even this layered symbolism does not explain the manuscript's precise origin or purpose. It remains unclear who would have commissioned or created such a work, and why knowledge was shrouded in such impenetrable mystery. Was it created for a courtly patron with interest in occult knowledge, an underground group preserving banned teachings, or an individual seeking personal enlightenment? Each question opens more doors but closes none. The botanical imagery also resonates with medieval art trends, where plants were sometimes depicted with symbolic meanings relating to virtues, vices, or allegories. The manuscript's creators may have drawn on these artistic traditions, weaving their knowledge into the pages in a way that would be intelligible only to an esoteric audience. The flowers and roots become characters in a silent drama of knowledge and faith. With every turn of a page, the botanical section amplifies the tension between curiosity and frustration. This balance is part of the manuscript's hypnotic power. The plants offer clues without solutions, drawing us closer even as they repel clear understanding. They invite us to dream of lost worlds and forgotten science, to imagine knowledge layered in symbols beyond full translation. The long history of attempts to decode this section reflects a greater human impulse, the desire to connect with nature across the boundaries of time and culture. The manuscript acts as a bridge, linking us to an ancient quest for understanding the natural world and our place in it. The vivid, mysterious plants serve as timeless reminders of the enduring mysteries still flowering at the edges of human knowledge. These pages provoke a quiet awe, evoking the sensation of uncovering not just scientific data, but art steeped in history, philosophy, and belief. In the silence of night, as the viewer's gaze lingers on the leaves and petals, the boundaries between past and present blur. The plants become a living archive of human creativity, resilience, and our endless capacity to wonder. The Voynich Manuscript's botanical images do more than decorate, they compel us to confront the intersection of art and science, fact and fiction. They challenge us to embrace mystery as a way to expand understanding rather than limit it. The flowers and roots become symbols of the unknown, and our effort to decode them a metaphor for the human journey itself, an unfolding quest for knowledge in the midst of uncertainty. Within this unfolding mystery, the manuscript becomes a meditation on the nature of knowledge and the limits of visibility. These botanical drawings remind us that seeing is not always understanding, and that sometimes the greatest truths are those hidden beneath the surface, waiting patiently for discovery in the quiet spaces of time. Each plant becomes a silent witness to a lost culture, an ancient worldview layered in symbols waiting to bloom anew in the minds willing to see beyond the obvious. The manuscript's pages are a testament to enduring wonder, a garden of secrets flourishing in the shadowed corners of history. The Voynich Manuscript's celestial and cosmological illustrations open another window into its enigmatic world, inviting the viewer to traverse the heavens alongside the tangled pages. Star charts and circular diagrams pepper these folios, each demanding interpretation yet offering none with certainty. They depict a cosmos that feels both familiar and alien, as if charting skies known yet seen through the prism of a hidden science or symbolic vision. Examining these celestial drawings, one notices the circular shapes divided into segments, reminiscent of astrological wheels or calendars. These intricate cycles suggest the manuscript's creator sought to map cosmic rhythms, perhaps relating to the passage of time, seasons, or spiritual influences. The divisions, numbers, and iconography could correspond to zodiac signs or planetary cycles, but they refuse clear decoding. This cosmic language dances just beyond our grasp, leaving us suspended in awe and questions. Some pages depict clusters of stars arranged in circular constellations orbiting female figures, their naked forms intertwined with the cosmos. These representations evoke a connection between human experience and celestial phenomena, hinting at metaphysical teachings or ancient wisdom linking the body and the heavens. The green fluid flowing through these images suggests purification or cosmic energy, a map not of continents but of inner and outer worlds alike. The presence of these cosmic figures alongside botanical and biological imagery hints at a manuscript designed to unite understanding of nature, body, and universe. The medieval mind often saw no clear divide between science, spirituality, and art, perceiving the cosmos as a unified whole governed by divine laws mirrored in earth and flesh. The manuscript may thus be a guide to that wholeness, coded in symbols layered with meaning. Astrology was a vital part of medieval medicine and worldview, so it is plausible these diagrams represent tools for practitioners to interpret celestial influence on health and fate. This section might have functioned as an astrologer's manual, blending star charts with healing knowledge to guide treatments aligned with cosmic rhythms. Such a fusion fits the manuscript's era, when astrology and medicine were inseparable. However, the manuscript's celestial imagery defies simple categorization, weaving biological, astronomical, and mystical themes into a complex tapestry. The figures bathing in pools connected by twisting channels recall alchemical symbolism of transformation and renewal. These images could represent rites of purification or illustrate the flow of cosmic energy affecting the human system, linking the microcosm and macrocosm. The spirals and wheels might also be intricate calendars or timekeeping devices, encoding cycles of the moon or sun. Such timepieces were vital for agricultural and religious life, determining planting seasons and ritual dates. Yet the manuscript's charts do not map directly onto any known calendar system or astronomical chart, deepening its mystery and implying that these cycles may reflect a personalized or secret cosmological understanding. This cosmic section of the manuscript is both scientific and artistic, containing clear attempts to represent real astronomical phenomena while also embracing abstract symbolism. The beauty of the drawing's starry realms cradling human forms reflects a medieval blending of observation and imagination. They inspire wonder even as they resist literal interpretation. The manuscript's layers of meaning are reflected in these celestial pages, which operate simultaneously on multiple levels: scientific chart, mystical diagram, and artistic expression. They suggest a worldview that saw the heavens as a mirror for the soul and body, inviting the reader to journey beyond the terrestrial into realms of spiritual insight and cosmic harmony. The green channels that surround the bathing figures speak to medieval and Renaissance ideas about the body's humors and internal flow, concepts linked to health and spiritual vitality. In this context, the illustrations may depict therapeutic sites or rituals where the cosmos influences the human body through unseen veins of energy or spirit. Viewing these cosmic illustrations in dim light, one senses the manuscript's invitation to explore not merely the external universe, but internal ones as well. The figures seem both subject and guide a visual language suggesting that the observer become a participant in a cosmic dance that blurs the lines between celestial and corporeal. The balance of art and science in the Voynich celestial section is part of what makes it so compelling. It defies our modern urge to separate empirical measurement from spiritual meaning. Instead, it offers a vision where both coexist, where stars chart not only physical but metaphysical journeys, and where knowledge of the heavens is simultaneously astronomical and alchemical. The manuscript urges us to rethink how ancient cultures saw the universe. It challenges the linear progress narrative that sees science emerging cleanly from superstition. Instead, the Voynich's cosmic pages remind us that history of knowledge is multifaceted, threaded with mystical, medical, and scientific ambitions intertwined in ways still mysterious. To look closely at these pages is to engage with a very old human impulse, to find connection between the heavens and our deepest selves. From time immemorial, humans have projected meaning onto the stars, seeing stories, cycles, and guidance written in the night sky. These pages extend that tradition into secret realms, faint echoes of a knowledge long hidden. The manuscript's enduring cosmic mystery also highlights the limits of our own observational frameworks. Its unknown symbols resist translation because they emerge from perspectives unlike our own, challenging us to open our minds to modes of thought that are not linear or exclusively rational. It compels humility and wonder before the unknown. In this way, the cosmic section of the Voynich manuscript becomes a metaphor for all human knowledge, simultaneously illuminating an elusive, ancient, and eternal. It beckons, promising revelations while preserving essential secrets. Night by night, it holds open a space where science, spirituality, and imagination converge. The quiet cycles and spirals on these pages remind us that much of our universe unfolds in rhythms beyond immediate understanding. In homage to this, the manuscript becomes a space of silent meditation, encouraging patience and a deep listening to the subtleties of time and existence itself. The images whisper of an ancient worldview where the stars and human spirits were inseparable, where astrology and healing formed a seamless fabric of knowledge. It invites each viewer to join a journey both outward to the cosmos and inward to the soul, an invitation that has captivated centuries of seekers. Every constellation and spiral, every female figure in delicate connection with celestial bodies, becomes a symbol of the fragile and profound human desire to connect with forces beyond our mortal grasp. These are echoes of knowledge lost to time, preserved in ink and parchment, waiting for new eyes to rediscover their meaning. The Voynich Manuscript's celestial drawings remind us that mystery is not just absence but invitation, a call to look deeper, to wander beyond the visible, and to embrace the cosmos both around us and within ourselves. It is a testament to the eternal human spirit reaching toward the heavens in humility and hope. The question of authorship shrouds the Voynich manuscript in as much mystery as the text itself. Who crafted this enigmatic volume, blending carefully drawn plants, cosmic diagrams, and an undeciphered script. Theories abound, each steeped in speculation, theory, and sometimes romantic myth, yet no definitive answer pierces the manuscript's veil. Its origins remain a whispered secret, buried beneath centuries of academic curiosity and intrigue. Some have proposed that the manuscript was the work of a single genius, someone with knowledge spanning botany, astrology, and linguistics, a polymath whose vision defied the limits of their time. This figure might have been a scholar, a magus, or an alchemist, weaving practical knowledge with mystical insights into a coded form accessible only to a select few. If true, the manuscript is a testament to human inventiveness and the desire to preserve secret wisdom. Figures like Roger Bacon, the 13th-century English friar and early scientist, have been suggested as possible authors. Bacon's known interest in cryptography and experimental science fits the manuscript's mysterious nature. However, carbon dating places the parchment in the early 15th century, well after Bacon's lifetime, making his authorship impossible. Yet this association speaks to the enduring allure of linking the manuscript to figures who straddle science and magic. Others believe the manuscript might have been created by John Dee and Edward Kelly, influential figures in the Elizabethan court known for their alchemical and occult pursuits. Dee's vast library and esoteric interests align with the manuscript's themes, and Kelly's claimed ability to communicate with angels through coded messages adds to the intrigue. Though this theory is tantalizing, no concrete evidence connects them to the manuscript. Some researchers suggest the manuscript is a product of Central European Renaissance culture, perhaps commissioned by a wealthy patron fascinated by occult knowledge and natural philosophy. This would explain the manuscript's blend of science and mysticism. The unknown author might have aimed to create a compendium of secret knowledge, impenetrable to uninitiated eyes, combining art, science, and coded language into a unified whole. The manuscript's ownership history includes figures such as Emperor Rudolph II, who allegedly valued the book sufficiently to pay large sums for it. Rudolph's court was a nexus of esoteric study, attracting alchemists, astronomers, and occultists. This noble patronage might have ensured the manuscript's survival, but again, it provides no clues as to the creator's identity. More cautious scholars point out the lack of written records linking the manuscript to any named author or specific workshop. The text's handwriting seems consistent enough to suggest a single scribe or coordinated team, but this tells us little about the person or persons behind the work. The manuscript stands apart, with no family tree or clear genealogy known. Instead, it floats alone in history, a solitary artifact without known authorship. The absence of a known author contributes to the manuscript's mystique, allowing it to occupy a space of infinite possibilities. It can be imagined as a product of myriad contexts, from a medieval scholar's secret journal to an elaborate court project, from an alchemist's manual to a sophisticated hoax designed for amusement or deception. This ambiguity has inspired many creative interpretations, including fictional stories casting the manuscript as a magical grimoire or a cosmic guide to hidden worlds. These stories, while imaginative, highlight humanity's impulse to fill gaps in knowledge with mythology, projecting our desire for meaning onto unknown artifacts. A startling aspect of the manuscript is its seamless blending of text and image, which implies that the author or creators were not merely scribes but artists and thinkers, consciously fusing information across disciplines. This integrative approach suggests that the manuscript is more than a book, it is a holistic work, bridging knowledge systems in a way that modern compartmentalize and obscures. If the manuscript was designed by an individual or group with secret knowledge, the intricate combination of its botanical, cosmological, and anatomical illustrations hints at a worldview where nature, cosmos, and the human body were interlinked reflections of hidden truths. This conception aligns with Renaissance and medieval intellectual traditions, where magic, science, and art were intertwined. The unknown author's craftsmanship shines through the manuscript's coherence and consistency. Each page's detailed imagery and script flow with purpose and care, negating the idea of random creation or meaningless decoration. This suggests an intentionality that surpasses simple hoax, reinforcing the possibility of sophisticated knowledge hidden beneath layers of symbols and stylized representation. Considering the manuscript's complexity, it is unlikely to be the product of an amateur. The consistency of script, ink, and painting style points to a planned, methodical creation, demanding specialist skills in calligraphy, illustration, and perhaps knowledge of language construction. This craftsman or workshop remains unnamed yet remarkable in history. The enigma of authorship leaves us with compelling questions. What world did this creator inhabit? What knowledge did they possess? What purpose did the manuscript serve for them and its intended readers? Each possible answer widens the mystery, weaving a tapestry of speculation that envelops the manuscript in timeless attraction. The manuscript's anonymous creator embodies a common theme in mysterious artifacts, the tension between known and unknown, presence and absence. Just as the text cannot be read, the hand that wrote it remains unseen. This lack transforms the manuscript into a tantalizing enigma, inviting infinite stories that reflect not only history but the human yearning for knowledge and connection. Our fascination with the unknown author speaks to a deep human need to understand origins not just of texts, but of ideas and cultural treasures. The Voynich Manuscript, in refusing to reveal its creator, forces us to dwell in uncertainty, challenging modern assumptions about attribution, authorship, and historical narrative. At the same time, the mystery of its author enriches the manuscript's significance. The work is not just an object but a symbol of lost voices and hidden wisdom, an echo of creative minds who blend science and art in baffling ways. It reminds us that historical knowledge is often partial, fragmented, and veiled, shaped as much by absence as presence. In that sense, the Voynich Manuscript functions as a mirror reflecting human curiosity about origins and meaning. The search for its author is bound up with a quest to reclaim forgotten realms of understanding, a silent pilgrimage beyond the visible into realms where history and imagination entwine. As the manuscript continues to resist identification of its creator, it remains a vibrant mystery, an unresolved paradox locked in ink. Its blank spaces speak as loudly as its illustrations, inviting each generation to imagine the hand behind the text and art, to dream of the mind that wove this intricate web of meaning and silence. This uncertainty compels us beyond passive observation into active participation. Each reader becomes a seeker, each decipherment attempt a step closer to the shadowed heart of the book. The author may remain unknown, but in this pursuit, the manuscript's story lives and breathes, ever weaving new narratives into the fabric of time. The Voynich Manuscript has tantalized code breakers for centuries, serving as a seemingly impenetrable fortress for cryptographic ingenuity. Its language, mysterious and alluring, beckoned mathematicians, linguists, and puzzle enthusiasts alike to attack its barriers with diverse methods born from ignorance, hope, and later, cutting-edge technology. Despite their brilliance, these experts faced a wall forged not just from complexity but from enigma woven into every symbol. The earliest documented interest from cryptographers emerged during the early 20th century after Wilfrid Voynich's rediscovery, World War I had intensified the need for breaking foreign codes, prompting military and civilian code breakers to examine the manuscript as possibly a wartime cipher. Initial efforts sought to apply classical cryptanalysis, testing substitution ciphers and transpositions common in military correspondence. Yet the manuscript defied these standard approaches, refusing to yield any hint of coherent plaintext. These early hopes gave way gradually to despair. The script did not behave as any known cipher system should, resisting methods that broke seemingly unsolvable codes in war and espionage. Its apparent pattern suggested structured language, yet no code breaker could produce a confident decryption. This failure marked the manuscript as not just a curiosity but as a cornerstone enigma, transforming its status from a possible spy document to a mystery that challenged the very foundations of cryptography. In the years following, interest in the manuscript widened to include linguists and polyglots. They attempted to sort its symbols into linguistic families, investigating whether the script aligned with known alphabets or represented a constructed language. Despite this linguistic lens, the manuscript resisted classification. Its words did not align with expected phonetic or morphological patterns, and its syntax remained elusive, as if it spoke a tongue that vanished before linguistic taxonomy could cradle it. The mid-20th century saw renewed efforts with the rise of modern cryptography and computer science. William Friedman, head of the U.S. Army's Signal Intelligence Service, devoted decades to the manuscript, assembling a team versed in the era's most sophisticated techniques. Despite their expertise, and armed with tools honed in the code-breaking successes of World War II, the manuscript remained unread, a puzzle as irreducible as ever. Such puzzlement led to a frank acknowledgement even by the world's best cryptographers that the manuscript might be a fake, a work of nonsense masquerading as esoteric knowledge. This pessimism, though, did not extinguish hope, rather, it deepened the manuscript's allure. Was it an elaborate hoax, or did it hide knowledge so well protected that breaking its code would require genius or insight beyond our reach? With the advent of computers, new analytical vistas opened. Scholars turned to statistical analysis and pattern recognition, attempting to quantify the text's structure. Using computers, they found regularities in word length and repetition akin to real languages. These computational studies undermined claims of randomness, suggesting instead that the text operated under internal linguistic rules. Yet, these discoveries provided no shortcut to meaning. No key had emerged. Advances in machine learning brought fresh hope. Neural networks trained on vast libraries of language sought to discern structure deeper than human eyes could detect. These AI models, adept at pattern recognition, revealed that the text behaves statistically like natural human languages. Yet, despite the allure of artificial intelligence, no translation or semantic breakthrough arrived. The manuscript maintained its silent defiance. Cryptoanalysts puzzled over why the manuscript's symbols seemed so well formed, with consistent letter combinations and apparent grammar, yet produced no meaningful interpretation. Was the language lost, unknown and isolated, or was the system a cipher with layers no cryptanalyst had yet peeled away? Each new theory sparked debates and more questions, but no universal consensus emerged. The variability and consistency paradox, where the script is neither random nor clearly understood, has led some to speculate the manuscript encodes a complex cipher system, perhaps polyalphabetic or polysemous. Others suggest it could be a constructed language designed for a secret society or ritualistic use, invented to confuse or conceal in a deliberate and artful way. Each methodical failure strengthened the manuscript's mythos as a human puzzle beyond time and technology. Its pages have been analyzed by every major code-breaking school from American signal intelligence to European cryptologic experts, yet none have succeeded. This repeated failure echoes the manuscript's greater mystery and enigma embedded in the history of human knowledge itself. The manuscript's resistance to decoding also exemplifies the limits of technology when faced with unknown systems. It challenges assumptions that computational power alone can solve every puzzle, reminding us that meaning requires context, keys, or cultural bridges that may no longer exist. It poses the question, can some mysteries remain fundamentally resistant to analysis? As years passed, the relentless fascination of cryptanalysts merged with enthusiasts and amateurs who tried their hands, birthed online forums and communities dedicated to the manuscript. They range from serious scholars to hopeful hobbyists, each attempting new interpretations or proposing novel theories inspired by their own insights or discoveries. This democratization of study has infused the manuscript with vibrant, ongoing life. Amateur sleuths have brought fresh eyes to the text, interpreting its diagrams, sequences, and patterns through an ever-expanding range of lenses: linguistic, mathematical, psychological, and even artistic. While none have definitively cracked the code, these efforts contribute to a collective engagement with the text that stretches across the globe from dusty archival rooms to luminous screens. Despite these widespread efforts, the manuscript's code remains a locked chest. Its failure to yield to even the most sophisticated cryptanalysis encourages a philosophical reflection on the relationship between language, code, and understanding. It dismisses simplistic models equating data with meaning and reveals knowledge to be often inseparable from human context and discourse. The very silence forced by the Voynich Manuscript compels us to reconsider how we pursue knowledge and what it means to understand. It invites us to embrace mystery itself, acknowledging that some texts resist full translation and that some stories are told in shadows and spaces between symbols rather than definitive words. This body of failed attempts at decoding is itself a patchwork atlas that charts the boundaries of human and artificial understanding. Each unsuccessful campaign teaches what we do not know and sharpens our questions about the nature of language and information. In this way, the manuscript becomes more than a text; it becomes a threshold to broader epistemological inquiry. Regardless of decoding success or failure, the manuscript has inspired new methods in cryptography and text analysis. It challenges scholars to innovate, to cross disciplinary lines, and to develop tools for unknown languages and complex codes. The manuscript's enigma has spurred both technological advancement and theoretical exploration. In the quiet rooms where scholars labor away, surrounded by scans and spectral images, the manuscript remains patient, a testament to the pursuit of knowledge as a process rather than a destination. Its silent insistence is itself a voice, calling every generation to listen, to decipher, and to wonder. Through the lens of code breaking, the Voynich Manuscript stands as both barrier and beacon, an uncracked fortress of symbols that guards its contents fiercely, yet opens a path toward discovery for those persistent and imaginative enough to seek it. The Voynich Manuscript's enigmatic nature has birthed countless theories, ranging from the practical to the fantastical, each attempting to explain its origins, purpose, and meaning. Some of these ideas are founded on careful scholarly research, while others emerge from imagination and speculation, reflecting the human urge to fill gaps in knowledge with stories that resonate emotionally and culturally. Theories about the manuscript span the spectrum, reflecting our diverse hopes, fears, and curiosities about the unknown. One prominent theory proposes that the manuscript is a compendium of lost medieval knowledge, a guide to herbal medicine, astrology, and alchemy crafted to preserve secrets that might otherwise have been forgotten or suppressed. In this view, the text's indecipherability serves as a protective measure, a cryptic safeguard ensuring that this knowledge would only be accessible to trusted initiates. Such a possibility imbues the manuscript with a sacred aura, linking it to traditions of secret wisdom and guarded lore common in mystical societies. The detailed botanical and astrological drawings support this hypothesis, implying a manual for practitioners who combined natural science with magic in their healing and philosophical endeavors. The presence of veiled anatomy and the use of hidden script hints at medicinal instruction encrypted within symbolic language, consistent with the medieval inclination to blend science with mystical symbolism. The idea that the manuscript served as a medical or alchemical guide remains one of the most compelling explanations grounded in historical context. Others suggest that the manuscript may be a coded diary or journal of an individual, perhaps an alchemist, herbalist, or esoteric scholar who chose to encode their personal observations and experiments for privacy or protection. This would explain the manuscript's unique language and comprehensive content without requiring a large audience or multiple authorship. Such a personal record must have held immense value for its creator, with the layered complexity serving to shield their discoveries from prying eyes. Alternatively, some scholars view the manuscript as a product of intellectual eclecticism, a Renaissance-era attempt to synthesize diverse streams of knowledge from European, Middle Eastern, and possibly even Asian sources. This fusion might explain the manuscript's strange mixture of familiar and alien elements in both text and illustration. The blending of cultural motifs and scholarly traditions could manifest as a text that resists easy classification, reflecting a conscious effort to create a universal compendium. More speculative theories propose that the manuscript represents a spiritual or mystical allegory. Its symbols might chart a journey of inner transformation, employing botanical, astronomical, and anatomical motifs as metaphors for spiritual states or rites. This interpretation aligns with traditions of esoteric literature that use coded imagery to depict philosophical or mystical concepts. The manuscript then becomes less a practical manual and more a sacred text, a cryptic guide for initiates on a path beyond ordinary perception. The possibility that the manuscript is an elaborate hoax looms large in scholarly debates as well. Some suggest it was created by a clever forger or entertainer aiming to confound and amuse the scholarly elite, or even to swindle patrons with a concoction of meaningless symbols and fake knowledge. While the manuscript's complexity argues against simple forgery, the human capacity for deception and performance art cannot be dismissed lightly. This theory highlights the power of illusion and the cultural obsession with mystery. Still, proponents of the hoax theory wrestle with the manuscript's remarkable internal coherence, its consistent script, structured language patterns, and detailed, purposeful illustrations, features that seem unlikely in a purely invented gibberish text. This internal logic suggests the existence of a code or language, real or constructed, that served the author's aims, adding richness to the manuscript's identity as a puzzle rather than a hoax. Some fringe theories venture into the realm of the paranormal or extraterrestrial, imagining the manuscript as a type of alien communication or a record of arcane knowledge passed down through mystical channels. Though lacking empirical support, these ideas reflect humanity's propensity to weave the unknown into grand cosmic narratives. Such speculations capture imagination but remain outside academic consensus. A popular cultural interpretation sees the manuscript as a symbol of human creativity and mystery rather than a document with fixed meaning. This perspective honors the manuscript as a work of art that challenges readers to explore the interplay between meaning and mystery. It posits that the beauty and complexity of the manuscript lie in its resistance to definitive answers, fostering wonder and imagination. The manuscript's symbolism is also linked to broader philosophical questions about knowledge and its limits. It provokes reflection on what it means to understand and communicate, pointing to the fragility of interpretation when context is lost. The manuscript's resistance to translation serves as a metaphor for mysteries that transcend language and time, inviting respect for the unknowable. Many of these theories intersect with the manuscript's historical context, where secrecy and coded knowledge were tools of power, protection, and identity. The manuscript may encapsulate the tension between public knowledge and private wisdom, showcasing how knowledge could be guarded through language and images veiled in complexity. At its heart, the manuscript is a shining example of the human desire to protect, exalt, and explore knowledge's edges. Whether a sacred text, scientific manual, coded diary, or creative hoax, it embodies layered human intentions, each adding depth to its ongoing story. Thus, it invites a multiplicity of readings and the coexistence of diverse truths in parallel, each theory a thread weaving through the manuscript's enigmatic fabric. These narratives enrich the manuscript's cultural significance beyond its textual content, transforming it into a living emblem of mystery. From the viewpoints of historians, linguists, mystics, and artists, the Voynich Manuscript acts as a prism refracting human imagination and reason alike. Its openness to interpretation mirrors the infinite human thirst for hidden knowledge and the secrets held in silence. This multifaceted nature turns the manuscript into a mirror reflecting not only ancient obscurity but contemporary fascination. It allows each reader to project their own meanings, hopes, and fears, making the manuscript a unique cultural artifact that evolves with its interpreters. This ongoing dialogue between text and reader transforms the manuscript into a dynamic experience, one defined not solely by its content but by the active engagement it inspires. It blurs lines between history, art, mysticism, and investigation, inviting perennial exploration. In surrendering definitive answers, the manuscript reveals the beauty of mystery itself, a place where questions foster wonder and imagination thrives. It reveals that sometimes, not knowing is a form of knowledge, a passage to deeper human understanding. The tapestry of theories woven around the Voynich manuscript is as rich as it is perplexing. Each hypothesis reflects different facets of human thought and culture, illuminating the manuscript's place not just in history but in the wider human quest for meaning. Good evening, dear listeners, as we reach the close of our journey through the labyrinthine pages of the Voynich manuscript, I invite you to rest into the quiet mystery that has spanned centuries, to breathe deeply as we take the final steps together into its enduring enigma. This manuscript, elusive and unfathomable, is not merely an object but a living whisper from the past, echoing across time with secrets still unspoken, inviting us into spaces where certainty fades and wonder begins. Its pages, inked with strange scripts, inhabited by impossible plants and celestial dances, have mesmerized countless seekers, scientists, dreamers, and wanderers, each drawn to its silent voice, its cryptic promises. It calls to us not because it yields answers easily, but because it embodies the very essence of mystery, the place where human curiosity meets the vast unknown, where knowledge hangs just beyond our reach, shimmering with possibility. The manuscript's refusal to be read, to be understood in conventional ways, elevates it to a symbol, both ancient and timeless, of the puzzles that chase us across history and into ourselves. It teaches patience, humility, and the courage to dwell in questions without rushing to closure, to embrace uncertainty as a sacred state, ripe with potential for insight and imagination. In its silence, the Voynich Manuscript becomes a meditation on the nature of knowledge, a reminder that not all meaning is immediate, not all secrets are meant to be unlocked with force or haste. In the quiet, in the shadows between words, it invites us to listen with new senses, to attune ourselves to layers of understanding beyond language, beyond direct interpretation. This manuscript, secretive and proud, transcends its material form, floating in the collective memory and imagination as a beacon for all who long to explore the borders of human experience. It is a testament to the enduring power of mystery to inspire, to confound, and to draw us toward ever greater depths of reflection. As we close these chapters, consider that the Voynich is a mirror reflecting our own journey, our quest for knowledge, our grappling with the unknowable, and our unending desire to connect with hidden truths. It's a story not only of a forgotten book but of human longing itself, reaching across generations, crossing the barriers of language and time. The manuscript invites you to walk softly in worlds where facts blend with fantasy, where science and magic entwine, where the known and unknown coexist in delicate balance. It beckons readers to be comfortable with ambiguity, to see beauty in unfinished stories, and to find peace in unanswered questions. This is its greatest gift, a call to the imagination, a dance with mystery, an endless invitation to see the world not only as it is but as it might be, through the prism of wonder and possibility. In this embrace of ambiguity, we find a space for dreams, for exploration, for the quiet thrill of the unexplained. Thank you for journeying through this extraordinary manuscript with me, for giving your attention to the whispers of history and the shadows of the unknown. May this story stay with you, soft and stirring, a companion in quiet moments, a spark in the dark. Until we meet again in the realms of mystery and imagination, rest well, dream deeply, and keep your curiosity alive. Good night.